Debt isn't ruining your life. The wrong type of debt is. Because not all debt is bad. And avoiding debt completely might actually be holding you back. So let's talk about the difference between good debt and bad debt and why every Jamaican needs to understand it. Hi guys, welcome back to the Wealth Lab JA. I'm Candice Brown, financial advisor by profession and educator at heart. If you're serious about your financial future, ensure to subscribe and join me here every Wednesday. Now let's dive in. So what is debt? At its core, debt is simple. Debt means you're using future money today. You're essentially saying, I don't have all the cash right now, but I'll pay it back over time. That can be powerful or it can be very dangerous. The key difference comes down to what that debt does for you. So let's look at it. What is good debt? Good debt is debt that moves you forward. It helps you to improve your future financial position. Essentially, it helps you to earn more, build long-term value, or create opportunity. In other words, good debt works for you. So let's talk about a few examples. The first example of good debt is education or skill development. If you borrow money to gain a skill or qualification that has the potential to increase your earnings, that can be a smart financial move. So we're talking about professional certifications, technical skill development, or university degrees that can create real career opportunities. The key question to ask is, will this education improve my financial opportunities in the future? Because education should not just be about collecting certificates. It should improve your ability to earn. The next example is mortgage or home ownership. A mortgage is one of the more common examples of good debt. Why? Because instead of paying rent forever, you are building equity, owning an asset, and creating long-term stability. Next, we have business or income-generating debt. Borrowing money to start or grow a business can be good debt. We're talking things like purchasing of equipment that can help you earn more, buying tools that can improve your productivity, and building inventory that can turn into sales. Notice the pattern? Good debt has a clear plan. You know how it can actually help you build or grow in the future. If you can't explain how this debt is going to move you forward, then that's a red flag. Now let's talk about bad debt. Bad debt does the opposite. Bad debt is debt that does not improve your financial position. It usually funds consumption, not growth, and oftentimes the item that you purchased loses value very quickly. Bad debt typically has these kinds of characteristics. So high interest rates, no income benefits, rapid depreciation, and long-term financial pressure. So let's look at a few common examples. First, we have consumer or credit card debt. Credit cards themselves aren't bad, and I'll go a bit more into that in a future video. But using them for lifestyle spending that you cannot afford creates bad debt. This includes things like clothing, dining out, gadgets, or even vacations that you didn't budget for. The problem is simple. By the time the credit card bill arrives, the experience or the item may have already been consumed. And if you only make the minimum payments, interest can keep the balance around for years to come. Next, we have high interest loans. This is an example of something that's normally used for short-term spending. Think payday loans, quick cash loans, or hire purchase with high interest rates. These loans often solve a short-term problem and create a long-term burden, because by the time you finish paying, you've paid back far more than what you borrowed. And that's not progress, that's pressure. So let's talk about the gray area. Car loans. Is a car loan a good debt or a bad debt? The answer is it depends. A car is not an appreciating asset. What that means is that it loses value over time and typically very quickly in the first few years. However, a car can actually be pretty useful and help you earn income over time. Think operating a business or commuting to work so you can be more productive, or maybe even rideshare services like Uber or InDrive. So if the car itself is affordable, helps you earn income, and fits comfortably in your budget, it may be neutral or even helpful. But if it stretches your finances, forces you into lifestyle sacrifice, or keeps you living paycheck to paycheck, then it is indeed bad debt, no matter how nice the car looks. A car should be a tool, not an investment. So why do so many people fall into bad debt? The thing is that many people don't intentionally choose bad debt. A lot of the time, it's because of situations like social pressure, lifestyle expectations, convenient spending, and lack of financial planning. You see how much time I talk about the lack of financial planning? Alright, so the thing is that debt itself can make life easier now, but future you will always pay the price. The thing about it is that you want to stop and determine, will this debt be hurtful or helpful? So before taking on any debts, I want you to ask yourself 3 questions. 1, will this debt improve my financial future? 2, can I comfortably afford the payments without stressing my budget? And 3, will the benefit of this debt last longer than the debt itself? If the answer to most or all of these questions is no, then it may be worth reconsidering. Debt itself should be intentional, not impulsive. I want to give you guys a quick reality check. Having debt doesn't mean that you're irresponsible, and avoiding all debt doesn't make you financially smart. Financial maturity is about knowing when to use debt, when to avoid it, and when to say not no. In Jamaica, access to credit is easier than it's ever been, but high interest rates can turn small decisions into big problems. That's why it's important to understand the true cost, read the fine print, and borrow with intention, not emotion. So here's a key takeaway. Good debt builds, bad debt drains. The goal isn't to avoid debt forever. It is to use debt intentionally, not emotionally. Because when debt aligns with your future, it can be a tool. But when it is driven by impulse, it can be a trap. So choose wisely. Your future self will thank you. If this video helps you better understand the difference between good debt and bad debt, go ahead and give it a like. And if you're serious about your financial future, ensure to subscribe and join me here every Wednesday. I'll see you in the next one.